IPMNation.com. IPMNation.com.
Everybody, welcome to Local Outbreak here on IPMNation.com, and we are at the studio, as we are every week now, in downtown Laconia, 50 Canal Street in Laconia. Go to thestudionh.com if you want to learn more about this wonderful place. A funky little gift shop here, an art store, very, very cool place, and very grateful to Melissa for letting us come in here and do the show here every week. And, of course, we are sponsored by Central NH Events. If you need a DJ for your event, go to centralnhevents.com. Mr. Tim Martin does a phenomenal job. He will show up and DJ your event. And he does all kinds of events, all kinds of hootenannies and shindigs and corporate functions and you name it. So centralnhevents.com is the website for Tim. And we are here this week with Arthur James. Arthur, how are you?
Pretty good.
And where are you from?
I live in Warner, New Hampshire.
Warner, New Hampshire. Okay.
South Central.
And we were kind of talking off air about where that is exactly. So it sounds like you're kind of out in the woods there, huh?
Yeah, I'm in no man's land. I live in actually a 2-mile stretch of Moose Crossing.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
Excellent. Well, welcome to the show. It's great to have you here tonight. And you brought some tunes with you. What do you want to play to start out the show?
We could probably start off with Things Ain't No Better.
All right, very good. And then we'll come back and chat. But this is our first track tonight. This is Things Ain't No Better from Arthur James here on Local Outbreak on IPMNation.com.
That piece of me was taking about miles. You know, now I woke up this morning, blues in my house, in my house. Well, now things ain't no better, no matter what I say or do. Woke up this morning, head was reeling from the news. Turn off the TV, give me all them blues. You know, now turn off the TV. Well, there's too many blues. Well, now things ain't no better, no matter what I want or do. Give me no change, don't even know what to do first. Can't get a glass of water to quench my thirst. You know, it seems like I do not ever quench my thirst. Well, now things ain't no better, no matter what I drink or do. My best friend Jesus, if you get me there first. Come on, Jesus. Yeah, and I get me there first. You gotta make me better, Jesus. No matter what I say or do. Come on and make me better, Jesus. No matter what I say or do. Say or do.
Local Outbreak on IPMNation.com, and we are here at the studio in downtown Laconia with Arthur James, who is our guest this week. And Arthur, have you always, are you from New Hampshire? How long have you?
Originally, I'm from Massachusetts.
Oh, okay.
Born and raised in the Berkshires, and lived there about 22 years or so.
Yeah.
Actually, about 25 years. I moved to Northampton for 3 years, did sound at a major club called the Iron Horse.
Okay.
And then after 3 years of doing that, decided it was time for a change and moved to New Hampshire. Basically because I liked what it said on the license plate, live free or die.
Yeah,
I've been trying to do that ever since moving up here.
That draws a lot of people here.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So how long have you been playing music then? You've been at it a while, huh?
For quite some time. I am older than I appear, as is noted by my male pattern baldness.
Yeah. Well, it just means you have a lot of testosterone. There's
Yes,
nothing wrong with that, right?
an overabundance of it.
There you go. Have you been recording for a long time? Do you have a lot of recorded material?
Yeah, I between my own bands, solo albums, playing drums with other people's bands, guitar work with other people's bands, I don't know, I'm somewhere in the double digits.
Yeah. So you're one of those guys who can play multiple instruments?
Yes, drums are my first instrument, but that's what I started off as back when I was in high school. And then I was writing poetry, and I wanted to get into songwriting, so poetry is that natural evolution, but you're never going to write a song behind a drum set unless you're,
Sure.
I don't know, some kind of musical genius that can chart out exactly what the notes and the melody is.
Right.
And I am by no means a musical genius. Self-taught in every aspect.
Oh, really?
It.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Good for you. Yeah, I'm always jealous of people who can play multiple instruments. Like I ended up playing bass because I started out on guitar and then I picked up a bass and I said, oh, 2 fewer strings and I don't have to know any chords.
You can be a real minimalist too. You could be like Mark Salmon and just strip it down to 2 strings on a bass.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you currently play in a band or are you just focused on your solo material?
Right now, the band is actually in transition. It started off as Arthur James and Northbound several years ago, and that's some of the cuts you're going to play tonight are Arthur James and Northbound songs. Right now, I just book it as the Arthur James Band because it's constantly in flux. I've had a lot of people come through the band during the course of the years, and it's been easier now to just change it to the Arthur James Band because the people that were originally Northbound, the original drummer passed away. Oh. He ended up with brain cancer.
Oh, wow.
So the first couple songs I'll have you play is from that first album, featuring him on drums. And then the bass player in that band a couple years ago went on hiatus. He's had some medical issues and just needed some downtime. And other than doing some reunions, we really haven't cross paths that much musically.
Sure.
So I just been filling in. I always do a 3-piece type band unless it's a big money gig, a wedding, a party, something like that, where I could afford another musician.
Sure.
But once I learned how to play in a 3-piece format, it works perfecly.
So what are you playing live when you're in the 3-piece format?
I'm playing guitar.
You're playing
with
guitar.
my own band. I'm playing guitar.
Okay. Now, do you ever do gigs where it's just you and an
all the
acoustic
time?
or something?
And actually, I've been doing more of that lately.
Yeah.
It's a lot less headaches.
Yeah.
I don't rehearse with anybody. That's my main thing. Is I believe that practice is for people that don't know how to play their instruments. So the people that play with me, they either play with me at a jam and they get familiar with my material that way, or I will email them MP3s.
Interesting.
And just, I can chart out stuff and send it to them via email, and that's how I expect them to learn it and memorize the songs, and it's all up to them.
No
and you
kidding.
can tell right away if someone's done their homework or if they're just going to show up at the gig and go, all right, what key's this in? How's this song go?
Right.
So everyone that's worked with me over the years knows that going in.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a joke, and
I was going to say, because that's
some
really
musicians
unusual.
are very hostile to that kind of learning process.
Yeah.
But most of the people that play with me, they get it,
and
they pick it up very fast. And most of them I've known for years because I've met them at jams. That's the great thing about blues is you go to so many blues jams or you go to other people's gigs because everyone knows you're a musician, or they know you, they've seen you somewhere. They'll invite you on a stage, and then you start playing with them and go, that sticks in the back of your head. That guy was a really good drummer. I'd love to work with him somewhere down the line. So if you need a fill-in drummer, all of a sudden that's the guy you're calling.
Yeah.
And then you just explain to him, all right, this is what I need you to learn. And then as they get better and they get more familiar with the material, next thing you know, they're your number one stool.
Sure. Now, have you always approached it that way?
No, I did used to practice.
Yeah.
And I found both practicing for my own bands where I was the front person and especially playing with other bands, especially if I was a drummer, because I know how to play guitar, I would watch the other bands, and if they don't pick up their own material and really learn it, a lot of times I would know the material better than the guitar player in various bands.
Sure.
Or even though I don't really play bass, I would know the parts. Like we'd get to a gig and start a different song that was on a set list.
Yeah.
And the bass player is scrambling around trying to figure out what key the song is on. I'm like, there's only 2 slow songs we do, and they have a 2 or 3 note introduction. How do you not know that?
Right.
You know, so it is a matter of doing your homework with everybody. And that's
Sure.
the one thing that I ask of anyone that plays with me. And so far, I played with some of the best people in New England.
Yeah.
Not just New Hampshire, but New England.
Have you ever had a kind of a horror story though, where have you ever been in that situation on stage where somebody is lost? Really? Yeah.
I've had horror stories myself. I have a song called C Spot, and I've started it in the wrong key.
Oh, really? Yeah.
My excuse for that is because I use all my guitars are tuned differently, and I have my main guitar is tuned half a step down.
Okay.
So what I used to do is all my guitars had different colored necks, so I would remember, you know, how each guitar was tuned by looking at the neck.
Sure.
That got to be problematic as you get more guitars. And I've started songs, and my bass players look at me and go, do you even know what key you're playing in? And I'm getting angry. I'm like, yes, it's in C. He goes, you're not in C. And you look down, you're like, you're right, I'm not in C.
Wow.
Like, just follow me.
Yeah.
You know? So I yell at other musicians for screwing up.
Sure.
I yell at myself just as much, and then we all goof on each other.
Yeah.
That's the thing is, in the past, I would get angry with a lot of people just not being able to grasp the concept of what we were doing sometimes, or remember a very simple part. And I used to just fire myself. I say, you know, that's it. I don't need this anymore. I'm just going to go either play solo or join another band or start another band, rather than being a jerk.
Yeah.
You know, and getting into the fact where you're going to start yelling at people, because that's when, if it's not fun, why do it?
Right.
You know,
right. Of course.
So when I yell now, it's a big joke. I mean,
Really?
you look at me, I'm all 5'5" if I stand up straight on a box, you know?
Right.
So there is no real intimidation factor, which has been everyone that plays with me is remarkably taller than me. So it's been a big laugh fest as far as any of that stuff goes.
Right.
But yeah, there's been train wrecks.
No kidding. Yeah.
On my parts and on other people's parts.
So when it does happen, in the moment when you're on stage, how do you handle that? You just handle it?
If you make a mistake, you just make it again. That way it seems like I plan to do that.
Right.
Otherwise, it gets very jazzy very fast.
Sure.
So-
No, that makes sense. Yeah. So, but now you're doing more solo gigs than?
Right now, I am currently doing more solo things, just especially in the wintertime in New England. You know you're going to lose a couple gigs due to snowstorm. Right now, we're going through the wussification of New England. Some friends of mine have recently had gigs canceled because it was too cold out.
Really?
I'm like, which part of we're living in New England are you not grasping? And this was it was a couple weeks ago, and he's a very well-known musician, and he posted on FaceSpace. He's like, oh yeah, check this out. I got my gig canceled tonight because it's too cold. It was a Friday night.
That's amazing.
And we're all playing. I mean, there's not really clubs per se, especially if you're playing blues music or jazz or folky type stuff.
Sure.
You know, you're playing a restaurant. You go in. There's not even a stage in New Hampshire. There's no such thing as a club in New Hampshire. I guess legally they can't even use that unless they got grandfathered in.
Sure.
So you're going to a restaurant. You're pulling a table out of the corner.
Right.
So, you know, to cancel gigs unless it's a really bad snowstorm, it makes no sense, because your whole business is dependent on customers being there, eating your food, as much food as possible, because that's where your money is, and then the alcohol.
Sure.
And the music is secondary. It's like, okay, I could see maybe canceling the performer,
Right.
but why would you close a restaurant? And some places they're closing.
Yeah, that is really bizarre. I could understand, like in the Midwest a few weeks ago, or when this airs, it'll be almost a couple months, I guess, when they had the polar vortex and it was like 30 degrees below zero, even just without the wind chill. I could understand that, but this hasn't been that bad here.
No.
It's been nothing like that.
Now we'll see what this next snowstorm brings. I mean, right now I haven't seen more than a foot of snow in any dumping this year.
Right. Yeah. It hasn't been bad at all. Wow. Well, let's play another track. What do you want to play next?
Let's do "Drowning on Dry Land," which was the title track of the first Northbound record, featuring Peter Johnson on drums, who has since passed away from brain cancer.
Okay.
And it was one of his favorite songs. But actually, both that and Things Ain't No Better are two of his favorite songs to play.
Okay. All right, so this is Drowning on Dry Land from Arthur James and Northbound?
And Northbound.
Okay, Arthur James and Northbound here on Local Outbreak on IPMNation.com.
Going down for third time, gonna be my death. No place to run, you know now, nothing I can do. Walls closing in on me and doors shutting too. Feel like I'm drowning on dry land. Feel like I'm drowning, baby, on dry land. Feel like I'm drowning on dry land. Feel like I'm drowning, baby, on dry land. So much to do, so little time without any clues. It's been around, you know, and it's just like a top. Nobody told me that I better stop. Feel like I'm drowning on dry land. Feel like I'm drowning, baby, on dry land. Feel like I'm drowning on dry land. Feel like I'm drowning, baby, on dry land. Try to make a stand, scratch and claw through all that sand. No one gonna help me, better help myself. Put all my worries up on the tallest shelf. Well, I can make it, you know I can. Don't wanna drown, baby, on dry land. Don't wanna drown, don't wanna drown, don't wanna drown on our ego going down. Gonna drown on dry land. Oh, Lord, not me.
Local Outbreak on IPMNation.com, and we are at the studio in downtown Laconia. TheStudioNH.com if you want to learn more about the studio. Very, very cool place here. And like I always say, definitely important to support your local businesses. And we're talking tonight with Arthur James. And so the material that we're hearing tonight, where was this recorded? I mean, obviously, various places, I assume. Or...
Yeah, the ones that I've got on the sampler that we're going to be playing are from the first two Arthur James and Northbound records.
Okay.
CDs, albums. Whatever you call them nowadays,
yeah.
not 8-tracks.
You can still say album. I mean, people in the industry
I prefer
still say
the term album.
Yeah,
I remember the good old days.
I even still hear people say record.
Yeah,
occasionally. You know, I mean, it's usually industry people, but yeah, people still say that.
I'd like to think I'm in industry. Yeah,
there you go.
I'm going to play something off that record.
Now, so where were those recorded?
Those first two albums were studio albums, and they're done at Mojo Studios up in Franconia, New Hampshire.
Yeah, a lot of people who I've had on the show swear by that.
Yeah,
that
Tony
studio.
Simino he's the engineer. He plays in a band called the Wicked Smart Horn Band with his father.
Oh.
And his father sometimes will come into the studio while we're recording and stuff, and you actually play through some of their equipment. They have equipment up there, and then it's a mix and match type thing. I'll bring up my own amplifier, my guitars. Sure. And then usually we use their drum set and their bass amp and that kind of stuff. And it's as professional as any studios you're going to find anywhere in New England.
They don't still do. They used to do their own radio show.
They used to, yeah.
That's gone, right?
I
think
I don't know.
I haven't heard about it in a while.
Yeah.
I think they shelved that.
Uncle Joe is the name of the bass player.
Okay.
The father.
Yeah.
And then Tony's his son, and Tony's the drummer in that band.
Yeah.
So I know the band works quite a bit. It's a really big horn band, so it's kind of a show band.
Sure.
Type thing.
Now, before you go in to record, I mean, is there some rehearsal there with the full band? Or?
No, because everything we do, it's been played out a million times.
Oh,
I'm not like Jimi Hendrix or the Beatles going into the studio. Okay, now I'm gonna pay $1 gazillion so I can sit here and stroke my own ego while I construct a song out of nothing.
Right.
It's not cost effective to do that. You gotta have your stuff down.
Yeah.
So we just there's songs that I pick out. I kind of have a loose running order of what I think the album should be. And we debate about that a little bit as we go through and go, kind of, all right, let's just move that one. But I've usually got it pretty well worked out. It's usually my vision, and they're my songs and or my arrangements for the most part.
Sure.
So it's a pretty fast process. We go in, and the recording is done in 1 or 2 days. Then you give it some time, you go back, you listen to the rough mixes, and you bring it in, and usually we can master it in 1 or 2 days as well.
Yeah.
So finished product in 4 days. Usually you bring it in.
It's a way to
just
do
a little bit more than $1,000, and then it's how many CDs do you want to sell at one time?
Right.
And nowadays with disc makers and a lot of these companies, you can just do limited runs. Mm-hmm. You don't have to order 5,000 CDs, which a lot of people get roped into doing that.
Oh yeah.
And some of the people whose albums I have played on got roped into that. Major studios down in Massachusetts, like this one guy actually used to go out on tour with Boston. And he's one of the premier studios down there. And what started off as a 4-song demo for my friend turned into a full-fledged CD. And by the time she was done, I think she spent $7,000 or $8,000 on it. Had several thousand CDs, like huge boxes everywhere in her spare bedroom. I'm like, why would you do that? Yeah. Just do a limited amount at first, sell them, and that'll bankroll the rest. Whatever else you want. Maybe you want to record another album.
Right.
And that's what I've always done. I've never lost money on any tape or CD that I've ever produced.
Yeah.
I started off originally with the cassette tapes. And again, you'd print up like maybe 200 of them, 300 of them, sell all those.
Sure.
And that would pay for the next recording.
Yeah.
You would just take that money, put it in the bank, don't touch it, just keep track of how much you made, and then spend that on your next album. And each album, you ended up having more money to spend. And by the time it got to CD recording, now you're up into the thousands of dollars. So you don't have a choice then.
Right.
Especially with the mixing and mastering now. You got to master a CD.
Oh, absolutely.
To really make it sound professional and slick.
Absolutely.
In the old days with cassettes, no one cared as long as you had a decent sounding product. What's a cassette?
Right.
Most people are going to lose them after a couple weeks anyway.
It sounds like you had a pretty good business sense from the beginning.
Yeah.
Did you have anyone who kind of mentored you, or were you just
not really?
Because the horror story that you described that happened to that friend of yours, I mean, you've probably got a ton more of stories similar, and I've heard a ton of those kinds of stories too. And we always kind of assume that the type of person who listens to a show like this probably is a musician who's either active in the local scene somehow, or is just at least interested in the scene, and may fall into some of those same pitfalls. So.
Yeah, a lot of people are they're sold to bill of goods.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, before we did those CDs at Mojo Studios, we actually met with some other studios, and we walked in there, and it was kind of a new studio, looked great, and I told them my vision of how I want this thing recorded and how I want it to sound,
sure,
and how it should all go down. And then they started dictating to us, no, well, we're not going to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to lay tracks. I'm like, no, we're not. We're a blues band. You ever hear of Stevie Ray Vaughan or the Fabulous Thunderbirds, Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf? You walk into a studio, you set up, you tune up, you play,
right.
You record it. If you screw something up, you punch it in and you fix it. If it's a bass note or whatever. Nowadays, you don't even have to go back into the studio. They can just go, okay, here's your bass note from the first measure. Boop, there. Because my bass player was going to do that.
Oh, really?
He got his bass. The guy goes, whoa, sit down, buddy. Grab some wood. He goes, let me fix that for you. And he went, doop, boop, 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 boop. He goes, any other clams that you want to fix? Well, there was one in another song. Boop, boop. Okay, now what? Now let's master it.
Right. It's amazing, isn't it?
Wow, that saved us a lot of money there.
Yeah. Are you is everything? Are you kind of the producer on everything that you record? Because
it's my own stuff. It's my own vision.
Yeah.
Some of the albums do contain my bass player singing.
Okay.
There's been a couple different projects with other bass players either writing their own songs and singing them, and I'll sing backgrounds or whatever. And then it's their vision.
Sure.
And I let them dictate to me what we want to do. And then usually I'll try to get them into the studio when we're mixing it and mastering. Say, all right, is this what you want your bass to sound like? Okay. Usually the mastering part is usually me.
Okay.
Because it's just basically me sitting there watching a computer screen. Because that's what music is nowadays. You're just looking at a computer screen.
Right.
and Tony will sit there and he'll bring different things up on the screen. We'll put in a couple of things to put some effects on there, like vocals, reverb, digital delay, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And then we're done.
Sure.
And the more people you have in there at that time, it gets to be a pain. Because then everyone's, well, I need to hear more sibilance out of my No, you don't.
Yeah. Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah, you're going to ruin it.
Absolutely.
Let's bring this thing in on time, people.
Exactly. So, time is money. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is.
What about in terms of playing out? Has that gotten more difficult over the years? Do you think it's gotten easier in some ways?
It's gotten horrific over the years.
Has it? Yeah.
Yeah. And the saving grace for me is the fact that I can play solo.
Sure.
So I haven't lost as many gigs as a lot of people. This great white law that New Hampshire passed, and really even I think it's down in Massachusetts and all those other states, the insurance companies have gone in since that great white incident. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden where you're playing with a band, and I only play with a 3-piece band. There's not that many people on stage in the first place.
Right.
Rooms that I was playing with a 3-piece band, no, you can't do that anymore.
Wow.
Insurance will let us have a solo performer or a duo, but you can't have 3 pieces because then the insurance rate doubles. And what they were demanding was that they were putting in, and this is their terminology, over the stage area, which there isn't one.
Right.
You need to put in like $30,000 and $40,000 sprinkler systems.
Oh,
now, if it's a restaurant, for the most part, you're going to have that anyway.
Right.
But if you didn't already have that when you bought the restaurant, now they expect you to add that added expense.
Brutal.
And they just go, well, now if I got to pay a musician on top of that, or 3 musicians, forget that. Mm-hmm. They're not going to do it. So many bands that I know, my own included, have lost a ton of gigs because of that.
Yeah. Oh, that is
the
brutal.
good thing for me is that I can play solo.
Yeah.
So it's been a boon being able to do that and keep myself busy.
Right. Wow. What about in terms of promoting, whether it's promoting new releases that you have or promoting your shows? Do you think that aspect is easier because of the internet? Do you think it's easier to at least the shows that you do book to get people there, or at least to
to get people to come out?
or does that continue to be a big
No,
challenge?
I actually need to hire somebody with a gun to get some of my, my friends on FaceSpace there to get them off the couch.
Yeah.
That, to me, one of my favorite songs to play is called I'm a Stranger Here.
Yeah.
And it really sums up the life of what I'm about, and most blues musicians are about. You're a stranger, you blow into another one-horse town, you set up your crap, You play your heart out. You hope you make your friends there. And because we're playing, it's not just New England. It's all over the country because I've met people from all over the country playing blues music. It's so many places are just restaurants and bars is where most of the music is happening. It's not the bigger clubs, so I don't know, to keep stuff like that going. It's easier to contact a bunch of people at once, but to actually get them to go to do an event. And even if Facebook is gone kind of almost the way of MySpace with that. Oh, you got to create an event.
Right.
Why can't you just put a simple calendar? On my web space, my regular website, there's a calendar. It's got the little square boxes. It tells you when Friday is.
Right.
And so many people, they can't grasp when a Friday or Saturday is. You put a post up on MySpace or FaceSpace or TwitFace or whatever the face place is.
Right.
And people are like, well, when is that? Well, I just wrote it all out for you. It says Friday, October 3rd. What more do you want me to go over to your house and give you a ride over there? Is that what I have to do to get you to come out?
Yeah.
So what you find is that because they're restaurants or they're bars, they have a certain following already. It's already a built-in crowd.
Yeah.
Your job as a musician, because you're still getting paid $19.79 wages, is to go in there and play your heart out and entertain them and keep them there eating and drinking and spending money.
Sure, exactly.
Try to get as many of your friends out as possible. And if you have enough friends that are drinking buddies or whatever, and you're playing close to home, you can get them out.
Right.
But to be a successful working musician, it doesn't matter if it's blues, country, jazz, folk music, pop music, rock, to make any money or to keep doing it, you can't play the same room, 10 minutes down the road from your house.
Right, yeah.
That's just that gets boring after a while, and eventually people will stop coming out to that.
Yeah.
You have to kind of tour around the state, or in my case, around all through New England.
Yeah.
So you're going to be going to places where nobody knows you. So you put it out on the social things, and people that frequent those Facebook pages or whatever, they'll look into that club. Okay, this is what's there tonight. It's a blues guy. Yeah, I'll go see that.
Right.
And then if they've never heard you before, you have your CDs, you got business cards. If they like you, they'll come back the next time you're there. That's how you build up your following.
Yeah.
That is your following nowadays. It's not like the old days in the 60s and 70s where people would get in the car, they'd drive for an hour and a half over a hill and dale to go out and dance on a Friday or Saturday night, because that's all there was.
Right.
Was there 3 channels on TV?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
There was no internet.
Have you toured outside of New England, or have you?
Yeah, every now and then I go down to New Jersey and do some shows down there.
Yeah.
And then I've won the Granite State Blues Challenge 2 years in a row, a couple years ago. So I won it once with my band and then once as a solo performer.
Wow.
So by doing that, you get to go to Memphis and you compete in the IBC's, the International Blues Challenge.
Okay.
Against the rest of the world.
Wow.
And that's, you're on Beale Street. It's a legendary street. It's all about blues music.
Yeah.
At least for the week that you're there. As soon as you're done, literally as soon as the finals are done, you walk down the street from the Orpheum, which is by the Mississippi River.
Yeah.
You walk back into Beale Street, and there's lines out the door of all the clubs you just competed at the entire week and saw the best blues people from the world.
Yeah.
Now it's all hip hop, and there's ropes out in the street because you just walk right down the center of Beale Street. They closed it off. You can walk down there with an open beer.
Oh, really? No kidding.
Yeah, it's and the basketball court is right there. So when the Memphis Grizzlies get done, they all pour right out on to Beer Street. Beer Street. That's why you might as well call it Beer Street. Beale Street.
I'm sure some people do call it Beer Street. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That sounds like a great experience.
Yeah, it is. That's what you want to strive for, and those have been the 2 best musical experiences of my life.
Yeah. Oh, very cool.
And it's something I hope I get to go down there again.
Yeah.
Whether I compete or not, just to go back down there.
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. Well, Arthur, let's play another track. What do you want to play next?
Let's do the title track of the second Northbound album, which was Long Black Road.
All right. Very good. So this is it's Arthur James and Northbound.
Again,
I just want to make sure I got the name right. Okay. So this is Long Black Road from Arthur James and Northbound here on Local Outbreak on IPMNation.com.
long back road. Roll on back with me. You know the blues overtook me. Oh, now and they will not leave me be. Where my heart lies in darkness, people. You know what my future was so bright. Yeah, my heart lies in darkness, people. You know what my future was so bright. Yeah, bad luck and the devil who overtook me one dark night. Sometimes I like to listen now. You know, to the sound of the falling rain. Yeah, sometimes I like to listen now. You know, to the sound of the falling rain. Yeah, wash away some of my memories. Oh, Lord, to help to ease some of my pain. Well, if my baby, yeah, we're only here with me tonight. Said if my baby, yeah, we're only here with me tonight. Well, I'd hold her so close now. Yeah, and I make love to her all the night. Sometimes I swear now, you know that the bottle's my only friend. Yeah, sometimes I swear now, you know that this bottle's my only friend. Stick with me through thick and thin now, and I know it's gonna be with me at the very end. It's a long black road. Roll on, away from me. Yeah, long black road. Roll on, away from me. Bad luck and the devil, oh Lord, they will not leave me be.
Local Outbreak on IPMNation.com. This is Matt from IPMNation.com, and I want to remind everybody, of course, you can currently hear Local Outbreak a couple of different ways. Of course, we do archive all the shows at IPMNation.com/Local Outbreak, and the show also airs Sunday nights at 10 p.m. on 100.1 The Planet. WPNH if you're in central New Hampshire, 100.1 The Planet, and very, very happy to have the show there as well. And of course, we do record the show. If you ever want to come down and check out a taping, because we do record it in advance Tuesday nights right here at the studio in downtown Laconia, New Hampshire. Every Tuesday night at 6 o'clock, we have somebody in and chat for a while, play some tunes. So thestudionh.com if you want to learn more about this wonderful place. And we are at 50 Canal Street doing this. And like I always say, very important to support your local businesses. And also Central NH Events. CentralNHEvents.com. Tim Martin is a big part of what makes this show possible. So very grateful to have the show sponsored by Central NH Events. If you need a DJ for your event, go to CentralNHEvents.com. And Arthur, this has been great. And how do people find you online? What's the best way to, we were talking earlier about the shows and how to figure out where you're touring, which should be easy, but people struggle with it anyway, I guess.
Yeah. For those of you that are into the social media aspect, you can find me on FaceSpace. And Facebook is just Arthur James.
Okay.
There's a couple other groups that are kind of comical joke groups dedicated to me and various rants of myself. My whole thing is about humor as well as serious blues.
Yeah.
So when you go to see me either as a solo performer or with a band, there's a lot of freestyle jazz comedy going on.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I'm known as being quite irreverent. I have a rubber chicken as a mascot. The rubber chicken has actually made it to Memphis both times that I've been down there. I mean, it's a trademark.
Yeah.
So I'm known as being quite a loon for the most part, but being a very serious blues musician as well.
Sure.
So they can find me on Facebook. You can friend me there. And then a lot of times if people need to know more, I'll add them to my regular email list. Or the best way, again, if you like a real calendar, which I do, you just go to arthurjames.webs.com.
Okay.
I haven't quite paid for the arthurjames.com part yet.
Right.
Or .org or .net or whatever it's going to be.
Right.
Eventually I will, but right now it's a free website.
Yeah.
arthurjames.webs.com.
All right. Excellent. And are you going to be touring a lot in the spring and summer, or?
Just starting to book the spring and the summertime right now. There's usually like 4 or 5 gigs right now through February, March. And then I've got nothing right now in April and May.
Yeah.
And then I've started lining up stuff for Bike Week up here in Laconia.
Cool.
I always play that 3 or 4 times at the Looney Bin. The Looney Bin's always been great to us. My nickname there is Arthur Rains because between myself and or the fact that it's Bike Week, it always pours. So I usually get threatened to get beat up quite a few times when I'm up there doing that.
Right. Well, at least you're consistent.
Yeah.
That's good. Arthur, this has been great. What do you want to play to wrap up the show?
Let's finish with it's just a solo piece it's on that same Long Black Road CD.
Okay.
It's called Forgotten Youth. And this is one of those songs that I've wanted to have on almost every single record ever since I wrote it. And for whatever reason, either trying to record it, something would happen, or it just would not fit in with the scheme of whatever album I was doing at the time. So let's say it was like 0 for 37. So this time I just said, guys, get out of here, go home. I'm going to sit here, I'm going to record this one song just so I can feel good about it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to throw it at the end of the CD. I was almost going to put it on as a hidden track.
Oh, really?
Just not even give it its name. And then finally I said, yeah, you know what? It ends the album very nicely. Just a solo acoustic thing, reminiscing.
Sure.
Which is kind of what Long Black Road is about too. So it fit with the whole scheme.
Okay, cool. All right. So this is Forgotten Youth from Arthur James here on Local Outbreak on IPMNation.com. Arthur, thank you.
Thank you.
I saw you. Oh, and I don't know what I'm going through. Oh, and I don't know what I'm going through. I lay awake at night, sometimes just thinking of you. I lay awake at night, sometimes just thinking of you. Forgotten you, where are you? Forgotten you, where are you? So little time and so much to do. So little time and so much to do. Well, and I don't know what I'm going through. Well, and I don't know what I'm going through. Forgotten youth, where are you going to? Forgotten youth, where are you going to? Oh, don't you know I miss you? Oh, don't you know I miss you?
IPMNation.com.